Today we're going to be talking about some words that are being pushed upon us, really, everywhere. Television, movies, magazines, all over the internet, you name it. The reason is to really deny a fuller experience of ourselves and what we're doing. In a sense, a fuller experience of experience. Two of the words are passion and self-esteem. We'll go with self-esteem first. When we come into existence, at the very beginnings of individualized being, it's in an area that's called Prakriti. Space, time, and perception are one and the same. They are not separate. This reflects into a child being born into the world. This child does not have to be encouraged to have self-esteem. It's there already. Now, it can be discouraged, mainly by ignoring it. But this we're already born with, and it doesn't go away. As long as there is some type of perception, there's going to be an experience of space and time, and there's going to be self-esteem. But this is very singular. Imagine a piece of paper, and you take a pencil and you put a dot on that paper. At first it was white blankness. You put a dot on it, and your focus is right there on that dot. Okay, that's the self-esteem there. But that little dot doesn't really have any dimensions to it. It's there, but it's not there. And if you look closely, if you consider closely, that little dot is everywhere across the page. It fills that page. It's just that when you create a dot with a pencil or a pen, you see it at one particular spot, but it's really everywhere. Sometimes I get the impression that this is what's referred to as cosmic consciousness. That it's not the full transcendence spoken of by advanced yogis and the siddhas and so forth. But it's cosmic just the same. Again, only in a singular sense. Then as this area of singular duality advances, we sometimes experience it in the dream state we do experience it in the dream state in various ways. One is you'll be dreaming and you'll see a buffalo. At the same time, that buffalo is an orange. It's just obvious when you're in that state that the buffalo is an orange. And then you wake up and you come to a three-dimensional awareness, and it doesn't make any sense, and you think you've gotten some kind of great, profound, mystical knowing from that, when in actuality you've been dealing with an area that has very little awareness to it, and so very little contrast. You're dealing with what does not have contrast. Now, this can be useful for kind of wiping the slate clean. So it can be done in a useful, helpful manner, but you have to have someone to show you how to do that. Otherwise, you could get stuck. And a lot of people do get kind of stuck there. Also, we have lived eons in that realm. And there are many different realms there. One of the realms, or a number of the realms, are quite frankly demonic. There is I heard someone speaking on that in a film. I believe her name is Irina. I can't remember her last name right offhand. But she was a Sufi. She had spent some time in India, and she heard her master talk about these demons. They're the same demons that are spoken of for those familiar with the New Testament. I grew up with the Bible, so I refer to it from time to time. In the New Testament, they're referred to as legion. And in both cases, with the Sufi master and with Yeshua, the demons ask that they not be separated, that they're a family group and they need to stay together. And so the Sufi accommodated them in some fashion. Yeshua exorcised the poor man who was possessed by these demons, put them in a herd of swine, and the pigs went crazy and went and drowned themselves. So that's the realm, the demonic realm there, whereby these beings do not exist. It's so singular that these beings do not exist unless they are perceived by someone of their own kind. And it is a hellish world. Which is why they like to possess humans, because they get to take part in our minds, they get to draw things out in contrast, they get to have thoughts. In that realm, none of that takes place. But to come back to the original notion here is that we are born into existence with self-esteem at the earliest stages of individuality, individuation, turned prakriti. But there's another kind of self-esteem, and it's associative. And rather than being singular, it's very flat and two-dimensional. It's like a stick man drawn on a sheet of paper. The stick man is aware of the interactions of his own little stick body, so to speak. And that's about it, because there's no awareness of anything else, because it is flat with the paper. Now imagine taking that little stick man and drawing an object bumping up against him, or her, a stick woman, bumping up against him. And this is going to affect self-esteem. It can be pleasurable, it can be painful. Those are the two basic ways that it is experienced. But all that stick man knows is that point of contact. Right there. Just that's it. That's all it knows. It doesn't know the whole object. So it doesn't know if the pleasure is going to be harmful in some way, or if the pain is going to be helpful in some way. It doesn't, this area of sentience doesn't even consider that. It just goes after the pleasure. Or, in some cases, it just goes after the pain. This area of sentience is where passion comes in. Now, the energy of a small child, the energy of that little dot on the piece of paper, you could say that's enthusiasm. It's not quite the same as passion, but it precedes it. But with some type of contact and some type of interaction going on, that's where the passion is. It's short-lived, and it's very flat. If you just hold it to there, if you just hold it to that. And so you go flitting around from one passion to another, But there is a progression here. You don't have to get stuck there.